back at Jamology. I'm Russ of Soul Pylot. I'm here with my two pals from St. Augustine, Duffy Bishop, Chris Carlson. We're here to chat, talk about the music scene, talk about what got them into it, and all that other stuff. So anyway, everything and music too. Welcome.
Go. Thank you. Thanks for
having us. All right. So, as we spoke earlier, where did it start for Duffy?
For me, it started as a little kid, and I would make up songs by myself and sing on my swing set, and then force my parents to watch me do little skits in the living room while I bounced around and dressed up. My mom always had music on. Dad wasn't too into music, but Mom had swing music, big band music, but she harmonized. She would sing with the radio all the time, and so I always give her credit for learning to harmonize, because I asked her one day, I said, I was, I think 4 or 5, I said, how are you making that other melody?
No, right.
And she said, just listen in between the notes and you'll hear it. And
well, that's true.
It was wild, I started doing that, and harmony is such a magic thing.
So singing was the first thing. It wasn't an instrument?
No, singing was the first thing, and performing and drawing.
Right, okay.
I was always like creating my own little shows and drawing things on butcher paper for backdrops.
And this was all in California?
That was in California. That was in Wairika, where I grew up until I was, 8 or so, and then we moved to Woodland, California.
So not knowing much about the geography of California. North, south?
That's north,
okay.
California.
Closer to San Francisco?
It's kind of on the border of Oregon.
Oh,
and
way up north.
Yeah, way up north.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Woodland is an hour and a half from San Francisco.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, so that's where I moved. Dad was with Standard Oil, so we moved a few times.
And San Francisco was a happening place for music at that point. Boy,
yeah. As when the big hippie thing started, Mom and Dad
put
my brother and I in the car, and Dad drives us to Haight-Ashbury.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, look at the hippies. And then he took us to a poster shop, But I was almost, I think I was 12 at that time, and then so by the time things started going, that was
we could, I guess we could say we're kind of in the Woodstock generation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, you saw all kinds of things at the Fillmore, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was, I saw all kinds of things at the Fillmore East, so you were at the
Fillmore
Fillmore West.
So Fillmore and Winterland, and, yep.
All right, fellow Jersey boy, tell me what you...
I want to get Duffy on this one thing, though, because you did mention, like, an instrument.
Right.
And Duffy did play guitar.
Okay.
I played flute first from
school?
third grade into high school. But yeah, guitar I started in 5th grade, and folk primarily.
But that was...
Odetta, Bob Dylan.
Acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
right.
Acoustic guitar, which I later changed for a 12-string, which was probably more than I should have.
It's more than most of us. Too many strings to tune.
Just for my hands,
okay.
But I played solo guitar for a long time, and then when I got into college, I just sang.
Be a front person.
To be a front person, yeah. Because in between there, did a lot of theater, and
But you were gigging on guitar.
Oh yeah.
You were just
solo.
You did solo. You did. Do you ever do a duo with Wally Clennard?
No, we just were good.
You did inspire him to buy a guitar, though.
Yes.
And he
And I had a couple of gals that my friend Jan Dutton and I both played guitar, and we'd harmonize and play
that was during the period of time where every college had a coffee house and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I was still in 5th grade when I started.
But I remember, all of New York was coffee houses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And that's where you saw Dave Van Ronk and all these people get up on
Yeah.
Where did you play?
There was a little
when
coffee
you were
house.
in high school, or
There was a little, well, I was getting into more of rock sort of stuff.
By then.
But
So when you were younger.
Yeah, when I was younger.
So where would you play? Besides church?
I did weddings.
Wow.
I did service clubs in the area like
JC's.
Lions, Seroptimus.
Right.
On
frat
special days
parties?
I come to school, you know, like if there was a
Assembly.
assembly or something to join in with.
See, I'm trying to.
Birthday.
I'm trying to talk her into playing guitar again.
Oh, okay. So we're working
And
towards it.
yeah.
On Earth Day, we'll walk around and
Yeah.
we'll sing "This Land Is Your
Well,
Land."
no, she
I'm
can play guitar. That's the thing.
Well,
And I would
very
love to.
that should be-
rudimentary.
Right, but that should be part of the
But
gig.
she-
It should be part of the act.
She's got rhythm.
Of course.
You know.
And I've watched her. I've been at the gigs.
Yeah, right.
I've been at your gigs. You know.
But it'd be nice, and you know, we could do some duet stuff, and it'd be nice to have another guitar
Without
playing
a
with
doubt.
me. Yeah, yeah.
You know, because I mean, well, you do use it. Well, let's get to my buddy Chris here.
Okay.
Where? Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Center of the universe, New Jersey.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, but we lived in Moorestown, Cherry Hill area
Right. Yep.
for a little while. But then when I was 5, we moved to Philadelphia, Mount Airy neighborhood, Philadelphia, North Philadelphia. And then we moved when I was 8, I believe, 7 or 8, to Nashville, because my dad was a ad man, and he got a gig with a company down there that did what's the insurance company that advertised on the Grand Ole Opry?
Redman.
No,
No?
he did Redman too, though. I can't, but he did advertising for the Grand
Okay.
Ole Opry, or for whatever insurance company they were affiliated with, and so got to go to the Grand Ole Opry
Wow.
with my dad.
Wow.
In the old
See,
old
the real
Opry
days, the
in
Ryman.
the Ryman,
The Ryman, rather.
when it was all pews.
Right.
You're sitting on pews, and no air conditioning, hot as hell. But great. So I got to see, Porter Wagner,
Right.
Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, Minnie Pearl,
The real deal.
Ernest Tubbs.
Who
Ernest
was in
Tubbs.
your apartment building?
Oh yeah. Merle Travis lived in our apartment building. And so we get to, us little kids, we were apartment rats and go bug everybody, knock on their doors and, hey, we're doing a newspaper, and Merle would say, okay, come on in, look at my guitars, there you go.
Yeah,
And
I did
then nice, then
I
get
did a
out of
show with Tom Bresh, who was Merle's son.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he
Oh.
used the name Bresh because that was the gentleman who adopted him through a divorce or something. But so where did Guitar Walk in? Where did that show up?
My brother, of course, going to the Opry and all that stuff, I love the music,
Right, so
going nuts. And then my brother, who is 10 years older than me, came home from college, his first year of college, with a guitar and a bunch of albums like Sun House and Muddy Waters and all these great blues things. Mance Liscombe, just great player. Bob Dylan, of course. And he showed me the cowboy chords, the rudimentary chords. So I really started playing when I was 8 or 9, I guess, and learned those Dylan tunes. And then we moved to Jacksonville, Florida in '68. So I was 10 or 11. And then I asked my father, can I take guitar lessons? And he says, yes, and I'm going to take them with you.
Oh, okay.
And so we both went to Bob Conti.
Right, who we all know is a fabulous jazz guitar player.
Yep. And took from him for several years. And we became friends. And then I moved to Seattle, Washington,
Wow, that's a big jump.
to get as far away as I could from Jacksonville, Florida.
Like Ray Charles.
Like Ray Charles. Ray Charles asked somebody after he got out of the St. Augustine School for the Deaf and Blind, he said, should point out on a map the farthest point away from here. and that's where I'm going to go. And that's where he went.
Now, we're not saying St. Augustine's isn't a cool place.
No,
We're not, but
But you know, I was 20
Right.
years old,
Of
and it
course,
was time to
you know,
leave home.
hot to trot, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
but that's where I met
That's where we
Duffy
met. Yeah.
Up there. Now,
up there.
Yeah.
you know, and so did you guys immediately connect on gigs or knew each other or socially or?
We were both in separate bands, and our paths crossed at one point and didn't even know it. But years later.
Okay.
But what year are we talking now, roughly?
82, 83.
Okay.
So in
70,
82,
yeah, 79
I didn't
we
know
were
her yet,
playing.
but my band, or the band I was in, was called Jammin' Salmon. Jammin' Salmon, and our theme song was, "Keep your hands off my salmon, I'm going to spawn upstream." But anyway, we got a gig at this place called the Old Timers
The Old Timers.
in Pioneer Square, which was the hip part of town where all the clubs were. And me and the lap steel player, he had a standing lap steel, we got to the gig by bus because we didn't have cars in those days. We just, so we're carrying all our equipment, on a city bus. And we get to the Old Timers and we walk in and there's another band setting up. And we go up to the manager and say, "What's up? We got a gig here tonight." He goes, "Oh, I double booked. They got here first. Sorry." And it was a band.
I guess who that was.
Yes,
Let
it
me
was a
just-
band
I
called
wanna guess.
Skeezix, and it was Duffy. And then I found out later
Yeah.
that it was, and I went, "Why I oughta."
Yeah. So at some point you guys joined forces, right?
I went and auditioned for a band he was in called Cool Ray and the Shades that needed a new
Now,
singer.
Another Cool Ray,
Another Cool Ray.
and Duffy came in. And
okay, so she's the cool Ray.
It was obvious.
I was the
that-
temporary Cool Ray. Then we split off from that.
I mean, it would be wrong of me to. I mean, I met you all here.
Yeah.
I mean, the band is blues influenced, but it's not blues. But it's not a blues band.
No.
It's not. I mean, people have said to me, "Oh, before I even knew you all, it was like, did you meet Duffy Bishop's blues and the blues band?" But I've heard it a number of times. It's not blues. It is blues influenced, but it's not blues.
No.
We
No, but
could
that's-
do
It's
that.
yes, but it's a unique presentation
Yeah.
of or
I agree.
product.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, our CDs, when people did sell CDs
Right.
in the CD store or the record store, were always cataloged in the blues section.
Okay.
And our awards are from the Blues
And
Society.
our awards are from the Blues Society. And we play a lot of blues festivals.
Yeah.
And then, some
And
blues purists go, "Well, I ain't blues." No, we're not. But
But that we've discussed this a few times here on the podcast. Is rock and roll Bruce Springsteen, Steely Dan, the Eagles? It's all rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
But it's and
it's also
and
Talking
blues,
Heads.
right? Exactly. But is blues Buddy Guy? Is it Jimmy Smith's Hammond organ trios?
Yeah.
It's all playing based on
Is it Duke Ellington?
right. Is jazz Duke Ellington, Miles, George Benson?
and you're naming all those people that mean a lot to me. And
Right.
that's where the blues is. you
Right,
know.
but I guess we'd all agree that blues is our street music, our underlining thread to everything that's truly American music.
Absolutely.
So if you're not rooted in the blues in some manner, you're not playing jazz, you're not playing country, you're not playing R&B, you're not playing blues, you're not playing rock
Yeah.
and roll. And when people say to me, "I have an R&B band," in my mind, my definition of that is, okay, most of your songs are based in some kind of a blues pattern, a blues progression, or rhythm changes, which is "I Got Rhythm" by
Right,
George
right,
Gershwin.
right.
Rhythm or blues.
Right, and that's
Louis
it.
Jordan.
It's not
Louis Jordan.
It's
Louis
not
Jordan.
it's not a cookie cutter R&B.
No.
It's not Sam
Well,
Cooke and
R&B
it's not
means
James Brown
something
or B.B. King.
completely different
Right.
today than it did in Louis Jordan's day.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
There, I think it really did, because all of
Yeah.
his songs were either rhythm changes
Yeah.
or blues changes.
Right. Yeah, it was.
And we used to do a lot of Louis Jordan.
Yeah. I love Louis
and a lot,
Jordan.
yeah, I think many of us played a lot of Louis Jordan, and then many people, took them and kind of, repackaged them,
Yeah.
to update them. But
Sure.
Louis Jordan was, was a key at some point to a lot of people's listening.
Absolutely.
But so what's happening now with the
We're in
the band?
flux.
You're in flux.
We're in major flux. We're really trying to nail it down what we're going to do.
When
COVID
we
kind
grow
of
up.
came and changed everything around. I mean, it was one of those kind of Murphy's Law things where we had a new CD out and had a tour set up, played in Memphis, and then COVID hit, and you know, the drummer couldn't do anything because of his leg, and our bass player was working as a therapist.
Right.
He was a
respiratory
therapist
yeah.
during COVID. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, man, if
Yeah,
that ain't like
so-
on call.
Yeah.
There-
So we just kind of were in our own world, and it made us really creative, I think,
absolutely.
because we did all sorts of bizarre little skit things leading into our show.
Streaming. We
yeah,
started
streaming.
streaming.
Well, it's okay.
And
I mean,
we
many
know
people did.
nothing about
No,
that.
the first
we
shows
just
were
learned
just
by
ridiculous.
doing.
Yeah, well, I did too. I started teaching online, and I'm going
Yeah.
live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I didn't know.
Well, our first show, and we did over 50 shows. We did
Yeah.
over 50 weeks of this.
Yeah.
Our first show, I had the iPhone set up, and we were sideways. So I'm looking at the computer screen, and people are going, turn yourself over, tilt the camera.
So they're watching you
I'm
like
going,
that.
yeah. So whoops.
But one of the greatest things about that was fans from all over,
Everywhere.
from
All over the
all
world.
over the world would get on, and they'd converse, and they'd meet each other,
Yes.
and now they're friends.
Yes.
We had a special segment where we had Chris's Aunt Lois, who's an incredible pianist.
From Philadelphia.
From Philadelphia. We said, send us a clip, and she's 90. And we said, okay, and now we're going to play Aunt Lois, you know.
Wow.
And people
So
are
you
like,
featured her, so Aunt Lois became everybody's aunt.
oh,
Yeah.
they
Yes,
love
absolutely.
it. They're going,
That's great.
when's Aunt Lois going to be on again, you know.
That's awesome. So
And hopefully she's gonna we're gonna get her down here
Yeah.
and
Bring
have
her
her play with
somewhere.
us.
that's awesome. So is it? So it's not the Duffy Bishop Blues Band. It's called what? What would be the handle?
The
Duffy Bishop Band.
Band. Okay, yeah. I mean, well, because
you
that's
know.
what people have to start looking at, tracking down on YouTube.
And I don't,
Right.
I've never put the Duffy, it's
No, we
never
never-
been the
Other
never
Duffy.
did
people
the
have put
Duffy
that
Bishop
handle
Blues
on it.
song.
When I first got here, that's what they were calling it.
Yeah.
But we're
You
not.
know?
Well,
I mean-
that's
And it's
just-
not.
We
I know
never
it is.
we never called it that. It used to be back in
Seattle,
Seattle.
we were
and
the Rhythm Dogs.
Duffy Bishop and the Rhythm Dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were very popular
Yeah.
around the Northwest. And
Yeah.
But it's a brand here. I mean, it was one of the first bands I was told to see when I got here.
Oh,
and I
nice.
saw
Well,
you
that's
guys
nice, but
4 years ago. You were at that place with coffee and wine.
Dose.
I remember
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
And I
remember
was there, and
yeah.
I just happened to stroll in, because Paul was playing with you all.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So and that was the first time, and that
Yeah.
was when I thought I was going to be moving here. But of course, that move became 4 years later. But it was already that Paul was saying I'm playing with with Duffy Bishop, so we'll be at this place, this venue. So I popped in there, and the band was killing. It was killing.
It was a
I didn't know your repertoire.
strange venue.
Yeah, I look like, and one of my students works there now, and he keeps
Yeah.
bugging
Oh, yeah.
them when
Oliver.
you're gonna when you're gonna
Yeah.
bring music back in, because it
Yeah.
looked like a great
Well,
venue.
it was
It
really
was
fun.
fun.
It was really fun. Not the perfect situation for music, but it was great, and we got the crowd that came.
It was a thing.
It
you know,
was a
it
thing.
became a
And
thing,
it became
and-
every people met each other, and
Yeah.
they became like
Well, I
friends,
mean, I
and it
think
was
that-
it was a
Yeah,
gathering.
we have to. I think that's part of performance is making something become a thing.
Yeah.
Just briefly, Mike Stern used to play at a bar that was underneath his house called the 55 Club,
Yeah.
and it was a dive.
Yeah.
It was a dive. But people got to know that there was this guitar player in the corner rehearsing down tunes, and then more and more people came, and now
Yeah.
it's an elite place to be,
Yeah.
and it's no longer a dive. And try to get booked there. It takes you like 6 months.
Well, we need a
You need
place
that.
like that again,
Well, we
where
were kind of hoping
peop-
Celestino's would be. something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I tried that in Celestino.
where
We know
people
what that is.
would listen and get involved. You know, I mean, that was the thing about Dose, is they came and they listened, and they did meet each other, but it was dedicated for that purpose. So
Right.
we need a room like that.
Well, we need that. I mean, the attempt for us was to do the open mic night, which happened and then ended
Right.
because of their financial issue.
Right.
But players would come in, you all would come in,
Yeah.
musicians would come in, and everybody get on stage. Music's here to be
Yeah.
shared.
Yeah.
Just before we sign off, what were your guitar influences?
Charlie Christian was
Okay,
the
that
first
was
solo
mine,
that I copped
7 Come 11?
on the record. No, it was actually Solo Flight.
Solo.
Yeah,
Yeah, Soulfly.
yeah.
That,
And I, put it on 16
of
and
course,
put
you
the
ruined your record. We
ruined the
all
record.
did that.
Yeah,
He was mine, and then mine went
and
to
all
Wes
the-
and George.
all the usual.
Yeah.
you know,
Okay. I
all
can
the
hear you're
usual
playing as well.
suspects.
So where upcoming that people can just jump in?
Well,
Where?
we're approaching summer. We're going to be going out west. We're going to be doing some traveling. We will be look on duffybishop.com,
Okay.
and that will have our schedule. We'll be doing some gigs at Barillo's
Yeah.
in the outdoor garden. They got new owners. They've really cleaned up the outdoor garden. It's
pretty.
very nice.
And those lights
And the
are
stage
real pretty.
is very nice
Yeah.
now.
Right.
It's much better
Oh,
than
yeah,
it
I
used to
was
be.
there. With you,
Yeah.
Jumped in there.
But
Yeah.
so there, and we also do this thing on American Cruise Lines where we live on board the ship for
Right.
like 2 weeks and go up and down rivers
Where's that come
around
out
the
of?
country. Well, it varies. We're doing one on the
gonna-
Mississippi,
yeah.
New Orleans to Memphis.
Which one's first? Is the intercoastal?
No,
No,
Mississippi.
Mississippi? Okay.
And is that booked with many acts or just yourselves?
Just us
We'll be
on
the
board.
on board, and then when they'll stop at different places, they'll have step-ons
Oh,
occasionally.
so they'll bring bands
so
in.
it breaks
Yeah.
breaks
Oh,
up
okay, I didn't
a
know,
little
'cause-
bit.
So
yeah.
we'll do like 3 shows a week, and they'll do 3 step-ons a week, and then
Yeah.
we'll do every happy hour
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
during
Yeah.
the day.
Is it tough to be living on board?
It's fun.
Transition.
It's fun. It's trying to keep your mind knowing when you're changing crew each week.
Okay.
Or passengers.
Passengers, I mean, and trying to commit names
Oh, yeah.
All
and
these names to memory.
faces of 150.
But it's
or
nice
more
because they're
people.
small cruises. They're like
Yeah, 150.
100 people
Oh, yeah.
average,
So you
probably.
can keep track of
It's not bad.
some of them. Maybe,
Yeah.
Maybe 10, 11%.
I know, we all kind of look alike at this
I
age.
just,
So.
see,
we do.
yeah, I just use the word, hey man, nice to see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And
That's
that's
our
it.
friend Paul DeLay used to go, hey, brother,
Yeah, that's
cousin.
right. That's all
Cousin.
I read.
And
Cousin.
when he passed away, these gals came up and they go, oh, I was special to Paul. He'd always call me sweetheart and honey.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, oh, yeah, you were
As
special
you do with
to
everybody
Paul.
else. So,
Now, I will say, I do want to say that we're going to, again, duffybishop.com, Duffy Bishop Music on Facebook. We'll have info. We're going to start streaming again. We're going to
Okay,
start
good.
doing some streaming
Yeah.
shows because they're really fun. And we do these comic routines where
Well, you can still see all of those on
Duffy, yeah, they're still on YouTube. They're on
Well,
Duffy,
there's
the
some
Duffy
good ones.
Bishop channel on YouTube. Duffy is
that must
Lucy,
come
me
from
is
the
Ricky.
theatrical part of
Oh,
Duffy.
Yeah, Duffy is Harpo, me is Groucho.
Yeah. My favorite is us as our cats.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like some people were disturbed by it, but
Yeah.
I
We imposed
did-
our faces on our cats' bodies. It was
I was a costumer
It's,
for a long
it's all,
time
it's all
too,
in good
so-
fun. I mean,
Yeah,
come on
it's
now,
fun.
we don't need the Humane Society to be chasing us
Oh,
down.
no.
no, it's
no.
lovingly done.
you know. So we're gonna wrap it up here at Jamology. Just briefly, a little bit of business. What's Jamology? It's a music school here located in St. Augustine. It has a jam club for youngsters, and it has the Jam Players Academy for people who want to take a deeper dive into learning music. So find us. We also teach online for those of you that want to study with us online. So that's a wrap with Duffy and Chris. So we'll
Thank
talk
you.
to
Thank you,
Oh, you're
Russ.
welcome.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Russ.
It's always a pleasure hanging
It's
out with
been
you.
lovely here at Gemology.